Yo, what's up guys? I will evaluate each fourth placer by their social strategy, strategic gameplay, and challenge performance each out of 10 points. By the end, I will calculate their scores to see who played the best overall game. Let's get started.
Hope you know that those days of working together, talking about our goals for the future, it was all genuine.
Alec starts off the season not socializing with anyone. He makes a strange decision and takes credit for Fiore's false flag idea. I'm not too sure why he did this, but I guess he wanted to seem more useful to his team, so, you know what, why not? This moment starts off the best villain duo in the game and in the entire series because they were on the same wavelength despite having even met each other. It was meant to be. Alec is in the minority and is forced to work with Ellie, who is in a similar position as him, which is just doing the bare minimum to survive. If he had socialized with the majority, he wouldn't have got along with the more extroverted people like Ashley or Will. Definitely not Nick, and there was some potential with Lil. I could see them getting along. Alec withdraws himself from the argument when Fiore burned Lil, Ashley, and Nick's items. Immediately not trying to help out who burned it kind of made him look suspicious, but Fiore immediately blames Lil for that, so I guess it was okay to leave. Fiore goes up to Alec and asks to read one of his big boy books, and he was kind of chill about it. Until the drawing that his son made him fell out of the book. Yeah, that kind of made the conversation awkward. Alec, not underestimating Fiore, made her like him more than the others. Then Alec socializes with Ellie's motivation to win. He doesn't reveal his motivation and compares Ellie's situation to his, which just isn't good socially. After Nick's elimination, he continues socializing with Fiore, and he likes her brutal honesty, which other players don't like so much. Ellie begins to hate him after he voted her out and is sent to the other team, which isn't his fault because nobody could have predicted the twist. When Gret joins the team, he was really welcoming towards her. He was able to get Gret to reveal information about her team, which is super useful going into the merge. He starts to socialize with Gabby and Ellie and is able to find out information about Dan's elimination. Ellie is actually over the betrayal from earlier, which I think is genuine. I don't think she was trying to lie to him there. Alec gave the information to Fiore, who knew how to cause social problems later on. Such a good team, and we haven't even got to the good part yet. His social game takes a bit of a dive when the host revealed the confessionals and Alec told the camera his whole plan, which causes Ellie to hate him again since he voted off Gabby. He only survives the next round since Gret even had a worse social game than Alec at that point in the game, which is just very lucky. Alec was able to get Ellie back on his side temporarily with some logic, this guy's persuasion is kinda cracked. With the information that Gret gave him and his knowledge, he managed to get Ellie to blow up her game by lying to Jake, which got him mad at her and not at Alec. He tries to be genuinely nice to Ellie in the cave, but it doesn't work since he absolutely used Ellie to get ahead, which isn't cool, man. In the final four, Alec says it would be easier to beat a little girl in the finale over Miriam. He thought he could be brutally honest to Fiore because they had a pretty good connection, but according to Fiore, it doesn't go both ways. Because Fiore didn't even attempt to take him in the finale, which was just a 180, I thought she was gonna do it. His reaction to getting betrayed was super out of character. I thought he would have been more calm about it, but yeah, he did do a lot for her. This is why you don't put all your eggs in one basket. As corny as it is very true. His social game is pretty poor as he doesn't interact with 3/4 of the cast. He pretty much only speaks to Fiore, Ellie, and Gret, and those connections weren't very genuine because he was so game focused, so I'll give him a 3.5 out of 10. He put all of his trust in the least trustworthy person at camp, which ended his game unfortunately.
The plan worked. Now without Gabby, Ellie will have no choice but to return with us to our old alliance.
Alec capitalizes off the Will and Fiore drama and votes off Will, weakening the 4-person alliance on his team. Then he votes off Nick since he's the weakest player in the challenges, which is a good call. At this point, Alec already has the numbers, so removing the least useful member of the team increases his team's overall strength while keeping his position secure. If Ellie joined Ashley and Lil, it's likely that Alec was still in a safe position because Fiore was the #1 target. The team does end up losing again, but Alec remains in the majority and votes off Lil, while luckily dodging Gabby's sole vote. Even though Gabby was pissed at the original purple team members, Ellie was able to convince Gabby to vote off Ashley, which kept Alec safe. Then he voted off Ellie because he wanted to keep Fiore in the game, which was the correct move. Fiore was much more loyal to Alec than Ellie ever was. Fiore was far more willing to make difficult strategic decisions that benefited Alec's game. The plan to eliminate Gabby in the merge was another smart move. Gabby was emotionally unpredictable and extremely loyal to Ellie, making her dangerous to keep around. If Alec wasn't cocky when the host revealed the confessionals, it's likely the plan would have worked much more smoother. Since the production team screwed him over, he is now in the minority. Since Ellie knows his true intentions, he loses his voting power, and he couldn't really influence Gret's elimination at all. This isn't really a strategic mistake on Alec's part because of, again, the whole confessional thing. Luckily, he built rapport with Ellie during the pre-merge, which caused her to keep him in the game. During Fiore's chaotic manipulation, that really cool Final 6 vote, Alec lays low throughout the whole elimination discussion, which is good threat management. Fiore attracts all the attention, while Alec quietly gets exactly what he wants, with zero risks involved because he wasn't going home. In the Final 5, Jake hates Ellie and the idol is just gone, which is an incredibly favorable outcome for Alec. In the vote, Alec doesn't cause unnecessary problems and goes along with Ellie to eliminate Jake. In Alec's eyes, Jake and Miriam are equally threatening, so choosing the easy option is the best choice. Despite being behind the biggest eliminations, he never put a target on himself. Fiore takes the blame because she's loud and annoying, and he just positions himself so well in the background. His strategic game is actually the best we've ever seen up to this point. You might call me crazy for this, but I believe he deserves a 10 out of 10. The amount of influence he had while not even being the primary target is just unheard of. He only misses the finale because of the karma he got from piggybacking off a 6-year-old's hard work. Fiore thought Alec wasn't deserving enough, which is why she voted him out. But it was a perfect game, all things considered.
Ow! Hey! Let go!
I don't think so.
Ah!
Alec contributes to the first 2 challenges without being a major standout. He isn't carrying his team, but he also isn't holding them back either. He was the only person on his team to not face his fear, which was getting his hair cut off. This is a weak performance, but I don't blame Alec for this because I don't think anyone else would do that fear. Going bald for the whole season is pretty crazy. In the next challenge, Alec immediately jumps on Tom, but Tom is simply stronger and more athletic, so he loses the fight. There wasn't anyone on his team who matched up well against Tom physically, so I appreciate that Alec did give it a good try. He volunteers to cook during the cooking challenge, but his team's ingredients are so terrible that they just couldn't make it work. In the Jensen challenge, Alec runs at him while blocking all of his shots, which allowed Ellie and Fiore to distract him. Very impressive teamwork. He outruns Jensen and avoids all of his shots. Then he just randomly pulls out straws made of leaves and shares them with Ellie to keep things fair. Then he goes on and wins immunity, which he didn't really need because he was the swing vote. In the next challenge, Fiore struggles since the wheel was moving too fast and Gret refused to slow down. Alec was able to convince Gret to cooperate with him rather than trying to get through the challenge the fastest, which ended up working out. In the puzzle section, the other team isn't coordinated at all. Alec's team was more coordinated and they win the challenge. In the merge, when Fiore suggests intentionally getting the questions wrong, Alec immediately recognizes that it's a better long-term strategy and convinces Gret to go along with it. Technically, he does lose the challenge, but strategically, this is actually a great decision since Gret likely would have been voted out otherwise. In the VR challenge, Alec is the only person who realizes they're inside a simulation and immediately tells Fiore. They both didn't have the stress of actually believing they were stranded for a month, so that's something. He, Fiore, and Gret coordinate a plan to steal the opposing team's items, showing great teamwork again. When Tom grabs Fiore and puts a gun to her head, like Tom wasn't messing around, Alec sacrifices himself by threatening Tom. Tom shoots Alec, allowing Fiore to escape. He gets eliminated from the challenge, but he makes a smart team play even though he's at risk at going home, but it did pay off. During the medals challenge, he struggles with archery and gets manipulated by Ellie to hand over one of his medals. We don't see Alec's performance after this moment. There isn't much to go off of other than that he sucks at archery. He considers giving up the challenge to look for Fiore while she was separated. This shows that Alec actually does care for children even though she wasn't his own, which is a big problem since Alec wished his son was more like her, which is just a weird situation. I'm on the side that this is more wholesome, but there are creeps out there who think Alec doesn't have the best intentions. Alright, let's just move on. When he wins immunity, largely because Ellie wastes too much time confronting Jake instead of focusing on the win. In the Final Four, Alec and Ellie generally outperform Miriam and Fiore in most challenge scenarios. If Ellie hadn't thrown the challenges, it would have been guaranteed that Alec would have remained safe regardless because he consistently performs better than the others. I will dock points on Alec's endurance because this was the challenge that lost him the game. He tires out before Ellie, allowing her to control the outcome of the challenge and lead to his vote out. Alec's challenge performance is solid but rarely exceptional. He contributes well in teamwork-based challenges and uses his intelligence to gain an advantage rather than relying on athleticism. He isn't physically dominant and rarely carries a challenge through raw skill alone, which is why I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Alec is an all-around competitor who can hold his own. His challenge ability is more consistent rather than being flat-out impressive.
What are you doing?
Sitting with you. I'll be quiet. That okay?
In the first episode, Hunter tries to socialize with Tess, but that doesn't work since Tess has depression and isn't willing to reciprocate. At least he's making an effort instead of writing her off immediately. He is persistent and tries to talk to Tess again. He gives her space that she needs and then socializes with Allie. He reveals that he actually recognizes her from her live streaming channel, which gives them something to bond over instead of starting off as complete strangers. Hunter has a meaning conversation with Tess about her depression. Rather than trying to fix her problems, he simply listens and understands what she's going through. Going through topics like these is pretty hard to do, but Hunter made this look like a breeze. And it's a pretty huge reason why Tess trusts him so much. Hunter and Allie were a bit insensitive when they were like, she shoots, she scores in front of Tess when she's taking her pills. But that came off as endearing, so I'll give him credit there. Hunter and Maggie have a conversation about friendship and become friends despite not being on the same team. After his secret was revealed, Hunter becomes self-conscious and decides to isolate himself from Allie and Tess, which is like, ooh, not a good social move, but understandable. Hunter opens up honestly, and the three of them agree not to let their past define who they are, which is powerful. At the merge, he socializes with Lake using his question cards, which shows that he's comfortable starting conversations with people outside of his immediate alliance. The trio has another emotional moment when Tess has a mental breakdown in the cave. Hunter somehow finds them and sits down next to Tess, which definitely helped her in that moment. Hunter supports Tess again by encouraging her to keep fighting, and his words actually help her push forward. Hunter asks Allie what her tattoo means, giving them another personal conversation that brings them even closer together. At this point, you may notice that the trio is practically unbreakable, but Hunter hasn't expanded his social game beyond that core group. After Tess is voted off, Hunter is extremely close with Allie and remains friendly with Lake, but Lake naturally has stronger relationships with the rest of the cast, giving her more flexibility than Hunter. He also misreads James's intention after the vote out of Lake, and incorrectly assumes James is willing to work with him, which is a social misread. After Allie is voted off, Hunter tries to befriend Rosa, but she immediately sees through his sudden attempt to connect with her. From Rosa's perspective, it feels more strategic than genuine, especially after Hunter accidentally shoots her during the challenge, which sends mixed signals. Once Rosa is framed, Hunter's the only one to believe her innocence. This helps repair the relationship because Rosa realizes Hunter genuinely trusts her instead of following the majority. She even gives him a relationship advice, which was a pretty good scene. After Rhea's manipulation, Aiden begins viewing Hunter more negatively despite Hunter having absolutely nothing to do with the plan. Hunter manages to get Aiden back on track before being eliminated by the idol. Hunter's greatest strength is that his relationships feel genuine rather than transactional. Whether it's Tess, Allie, Maggie, Rosa, or Lake, people generally trust Hunter because they know he cares about them as people instead of simply using them for the game. He has a noticeable flaw, Once Tess and Allie leave, Hunter suddenly finds himself outnumbered because he never invested enough time building equally strong relationships with the rest of the Merge cast. So where am I gonna put this? I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. His decision to invest almost entirely in one alliance prevent his social game from reaching the very top tier. But still good though. Come on, still good.
What do you think will happen? It'll be you and Aiden against Lake, Rosa, and Rhea. You'll be outnumbered.
Hunter joins an alliance with Yule and Tess, which gives him something to work off of. After Yule is straight up horrible to Tess, Hunter still wants to vote with him because he understands Yule is a massive shield. As long as Yule is in the game, people are always going to target him before Hunter any day of the week. His alliance had complete control over the first 2 eliminations, meaning his position was never really in danger. His strategy begins to fall apart when Yule gets swapped onto the other team and is eventually voted off before the merge. At the first merge vote, Hunter's alliance is suddenly being targeted. Losing Tess that early on puts him on the defense for the rest of the game. It takes a lot for him to survive the next round. He gets lucky that Carol rejoins the game and wanting revenge against James and Aiden. Then Rhea overhears Hunter and Allie's conversation with James, causing her to abandon Lake as an ally. And then he has to rely on Allie's vote block advantage just to survive. If one of these things went wrong, he would have gone home. In the next vote, Hunter reaches back out to James in an attempt to eliminate Rosa. He doesn't have the influence to convince him, and he loses his last social connection left, Allie. From this point onward, Hunter is just trying to survive. He decides to work with Rosa because she's the easiest to socialize with. Unfortunately, Rosa does go home that same episode, but he's trying to make moves. In the final 4, Hunter was cooking. He had the numbers to eliminate Rhea, then she used the idol and got him out with a soul vote, which was his only vote. Hunter's strategic pre-merge game was dominant. He was never going home. He isn't the driving force in the merge votes, and he doesn't really make any big mistakes. So I think this is going to round out to a 7 out of 10. He understands threat management and how to adapt when his allies are voted out, which are all qualities of a good player.
Holy shit, I can do this!
Hunter drives the boat for his team in the first challenge because he's a fast learner, which he says a lot on this show. In the fire challenge, he is the second to last person on his team to stay awake and helped Allie stay awake as well, which is not bad. Hunter ends up having to kiss both Aiden and Tess during the spin the wheel challenge. He completes both without getting embarrassed or hesitating, allowing his team to continue without causing problems. Hunter doesn't actually participate in the secrets challenge since Crystal automatically reveals his secret and he doesn't have the option to say no. Even without Crystal forcing him, I still think he would admit to his secret because in Queen Says he straight up exposes himself. His bullies did not hold back at all. At least he didn't lose the challenge. In the camping challenge, Hunter and Lake are the most competent team, until Lake gets pulled out of the game and Hunter is alone. He manages to find Allie and Tess and team up with them, and he ends up getting second, so good for him. Allie knocks out Hunter during the dodgeball portion. He manages to advance to the next part because of the unusual rules. Allie could have clutched, but that will be a mystery on what could have happened. In the dual stick part, Hunter and Lake have an even fight, while James and Rhea knock themselves out of the challenge. The 2 biggest threats move on to the last part, where Hunter comes out on top with some impressive ring toss accuracy. Hunter makes a rookie mistake during the horror challenge by deciding to take a shower. He didn't realize that a challenge was actually going on, so that makes me wonder if he did know, how well would he actually do. Yeah, I don't really know how to judge this one. During sled building, Hunter constructs arguably the best sled out of everyone. Well crafted for sure. He does lose on the originality aspect. During the race, Allie falls off the sled, and Hunter somehow manages to win while blindfolded without any directions. He got lucky on winning that one, which he desperately needed because I don't know how he would survive the vote. Hunter was smart in the balloon popping challenge by hiding in a tree. Rosa hits him with a setup and he manages to get away. He manages to hide away from everyone. He strikes at the most perfect moment when Rhea's stolen items fall out of Rosa's bag. He wins the challenge while dodging another impossible vote. In the final 4, Rhea reaches the ladders before Hunter, forcing him to take the second highest cliff instead of the highest one. He loses to Aiden during the Nina section. Why were the bigger items the advantage? Wouldn't the smaller items be easier to handle? I could be tripping. This is Hunter. He has the best challenge record of all time. And looking at the players I'm gonna rank down the road, I might as well do 5th placers at this point. He's gotta earn a 10 out of 10. Whether the challenge requires endurance, teamwork, survival skills, or anything else, he consistently places near the top. If it weren't for his challenge performance, he would have gone home much earlier.
People don't always get what they deserve. You can't sit around bickering aimlessly and expect things to get done.
Connor straight up had horrible positioning, immediately being placed on a team of 4 villains and Miriam. There was no chance he was going to build meaningful relationships with Yule or Gret, and Rhea was actively distancing herself from him. Despite this, he still manages to socialize with Alec about his problems with Rhea. I give Alec more credit for this friendship since Alec is the one starting the conversations, but Connor was still willing to open up. He naturally gets along with Miriam during her short stay because they're both old, so there you go. When he rejoins the game, he immediately rallies the heroes together with an Andrew Tate-style speech. Pure motivation, not holding back whatsoever. He does lose his aura when he reveals to Jake that it was a lie. The fact that everyone's willing to follow him shows that Connor naturally commands respect and has strong leadership qualities. Connor and Jake have a good boat dock scene and they strengthen their dynamic further. After witnessing Alec and Rhea kiss, Connor understandably loses trust in Alec. Rather than immediately cutting him off forever, Connor is willing to listen to Alec once Alec admits to his mistakes. Connor is very forgiving and values honesty when rebuilding relationships. Connor actually lies to Allie about working with Gret, which is an intentionally deceptive social play he makes. Luckily, this lie doesn't put him in any problems. Later on, he gives Allie advice about valuing criticism that comes from friends and family, which she did need to hear because she was going downhill. Connor immediately recognizes that Rhea sabotaged Allie's game. However, he failed to tell Jake and Allie what he knows. Or maybe he did tell him, but it didn't work. Whatever, it was unsuccessful. Overall, Connor's social game is very good. He doesn't have trouble of making people like him. He got along with all of the heroes and even some of the villainous people like Alec and Gret. So I will give him an 8 out of 10. He naturally forms strong connections through honesty, empathy, and leadership rather than manipulation, which are all good qualities of a cool, likable dude.
Okay, team. We finally have the upper hand. Let's send these villains packing.
I'm with you.
In the first vote, he votes off Miriam since there really wasn't another realistic option. He follows Miriam's request and delivers the note regarding the Villains Alliance. This is a pretty good strategic move, but he didn't know what he was doing as he didn't read the letter. In the next vote, Alec and Rhea were considering to keep him in the game because of his good social game. They decided to stay loyal to the villains and eliminate Connor because of it. When he rejoins, Connor successfully forces a tie against Gabby. Even though he lost his ally Tom, forcing the tie in the first place shows that he is able to regroup the heroes and put pressure back on the villains, which is what I like to see. Now his whole mission is to get Rhea out of the game, so the Yule vote feels like a missed opportunity. Since the villains are falling apart, it's pretty realistic that Connor could have switched up the target because all the heroes trusted him. Like, it would have been cool if Connor was like, alright team, we're gonna blindside Rhea. That would have made this season so much better. In the next vote, Connor thought he had the numbers to actually eliminate Rhea, but Allie unexpectedly flips and ruins the entire plan. He plays the idol on Jake, which saves him. Not even Jake was sure what was gonna happen, but Connor made the correct call. This is definitely a positive move. However, he follows it up by voting for Alec instead of Rhea. While this matches up with Gret's plan, taking out Rhea here would have improved Connor's winning chances much more. Connor could have used Alec as an ally, but he was loyal to Gret, so there goes that. You really liked beer that much. Connor originally wants to target Allie, but Jay convinces him to vote for Gret instead. This ends up being a good decision since Allie votes alongside him. Connor is willing to change his plans when presented with a better strategic option instead of stubbornly sticking to his original idea. At the final four, Connor realizes that his injury is going to prevent him from winning, so he quits. He gave Jake and Allie the opportunity to take down Rhea, which didn't work. Connor's strategic game is okay. While he does have some good moments of getting the heroes together and saving Jake with the idol, he rarely controls the direction of the game, so I'm gonna give him a 4.5 out of 10. Throughout the season, he generally reacts to the situation in front of him instead of dictating where the game goes. So I think this is a pretty good spot. In the first challenge, he contributes to his team getting second. Then in the next challenge, he manages to find one of the clues while also saving Rhea at the same time. While he doesn't compete after that, he does give his team the clue, which ends up working out. During the sandbag challenge, Connor gets his hands on the sandbag first. Then he gets tackled by Jake and Aiden, and Jake ends up getting the point. While this was a fail, it still took 2 people to take down Connor. In the triathlon challenge, Connor immediately jumps off the cliff with no hesitation. In the singing challenge, Connor wasn't really useful at first because of everything involving Rhea, but Alec helps him get back on track. The comeback challenge is easily Connor's best performance of the season. Even after Rhea sabotages him, he refuses to give up and climbs the whole rope and catches back up. Then Rhea refuses to glide with him, so he full-on forces her to go with him. I don't support putting your hands on women, but you gotta do what you gotta do for the challenge. That probably sounded bad, but this is a cartoon, and this is Rhea who deserves that after messing with him. In the flag challenge, Connor has the flag near the end and lies to Alec where it is. Alec immediately spots it and catches Connor off guard and steals the win. If Connor did win that challenge, he already had immunity from the previous challenge, so he would have like some type of super immunity or something. In the superhero challenge, Connor's strength was no match for Gabby's snake venom, and he's eliminated from the challenge pretty early. Connor has to put up with dealing with TikTok dances, which was pretty funny, and he didn't do that bad at them. In the truth challenge, Connor asked Alec if his earlier advice was genuine, and Alec was telling the truth. Gret asked Connor if he still has feelings for Rhea, and Connor lies, claiming that he doesn't. Connor asked Rhea if she ever considered leaving Hollywood for him, and she lies in return, giving him a positive moment in the challenge. Connor eventually falls after holding too much weight and is out of the challenge. In the next challenge, Connor completes the obstacle course slower than everyone else, besides Jake and Allie, who are dealing with their own problems. He becomes frustrated while trying to solve the puzzle, which I can understand because puzzles suck. In the horse challenge, Connor has the most overpowered horse I've ever seen, who was able to go back to save Rhea, which is like, why did he do that? And then go back into the race like nothing happened, on top of carrying an extra person. Rhea seduces Connor with a kiss before pushing him off the horse. He gets lucky that he only breaks his foot after all of that. In the next challenge, Connor has to hop on one leg and is somewhat competitive with the others. Very competitive, actually. He comes extremely close to stopping Rhea from winning before she gains the upper hand and painfully snaps his injured foot. Like, holy crap. Connor is a very strong competitor who performs consistently well across a wide variety of challenges. His biggest weakness is allowing Rhea to distract him emotionally, which costs him multiple opportunities. However, his determination, physical ability, and refusal to give up, especially after breaking his foot, makes him a strong challenge performer, so I will give him a 9 out of 10. He was rarely a liability, consistently contributed to his team, and proved himself to be a worthy competitor throughout the season.
Could I ever do any hunting without a big, strong man to protect me?
Hannah is immediately kind to Amelie at the start of the game and convinces her to help build a shelter. When Amelie becomes overly confrontational, Hannah isn't afraid to stand up to her, explaining to her that not everything has to be a fight. Surprisingly, Amelie actually listens, showing that Hannah is able to earn respect and get through to people. After Amelie is eliminated, Hannah quickly connects with Diego. He accidentally upsets her by making a joke mentioning her mom, and Hannah opens up about losing her mother at a young age. The two build a genuine friendship based on trust rather than strategy. They have a role-playing moment when Diego acts as a tour guide, and Hannah happily goes along with it and shows off her silly side. After Diego fumbles Spencer, like kissing him and he pulls away like that, that's not good, man. Hannah gives him supporting advice that he genuinely listens to, further showing off her emotional intelligence. After Diego is voted out, Hannah doesn't isolate herself. She immediately connects with Tristan and once again provides thoughtful advice, which is sitting in crap. Doo-doo. Gross. She just naturally builds relationships wherever she goes. After Tristan is idled out, Benji becomes Hannah's only remaining close ally. Up until this point, the relationship has mostly been strategic, but it gradually becomes more genuine as the game goes on. Hannah has a suspicion that Ivy's intentionally throwing the challenge and notices that Ivy and Zayd are becoming a couple. She begins genuinely caring about Benji. Hannah encourages Benji to become more social with Zayd. It works in a Benji-like fashion, which makes her closest ally less of a liability. After Anastasia reveals the twist to the red team, Hannah boldly tells Anastasia to lose the challenge and confront Linda herself, which is straight facts. Anastasia clearly doesn't appreciate being challenged, but Hannah isn't intimidated by stronger personalities as we saw with Amelie. After Ivy is eliminated, Hannah tries to comfort Zayd, but this time her social skills aren't enough to help him because he's simply too devastated by the loss. In the merge, Hannah is in a good social position with the Girls Alliance, which falls through because Benji is voted out by the girls and Zayd. Rather than shutting everyone out, she begins trusting Natalia, who she thought was left out on the plan, but she was still in on it. Natalia encourages Hannah to start playing harder by saying there's only one winner, resulting in a noticeable shift in Hannah's personality. Hannah gets lucky that Amelie rejoins the game. However, she begins viewing Amelie more as a strategic number rather than a true friend. I guess this is what happens when you lose one too many allies. During the Scary Clown Challenge, Hannah is faced with a moral dilemma. Help out Amelie or go for immunity. Hannah leaves Amelie behind, which makes her feel not reciprocated from helping Hannah out during the auction. This is the first moment where Hannah's relationship shows signs of strain rather than being wholesome. After finding herself on the wrong side of the vote, Hannah becomes frustrated and isolates herself. Logan notices and cheers her up, which forms another friendship for Hannah. Hannah and Amelie share an honest conversation about how different they truly are. This heart-to-heart allows Hannah to relax and appreciate Amelie's perspective much more than before. After Amelie's voted out for the second time, Hannah is understandably distrustful of Logan because of his role in the vote. When Logan later begs for forgiveness, Hannah doesn't immediately accept his apology, making her reaction feel realistic rather than over-forgiving. Hannah exposes Logan's leak at the worst time possible, causing Anastasia to direct her anger toward Hannah instead of Logan, who really deserved it, by the way. By the final four, Hannah is willing to rebuild her friendship with Logan because she trusts him more than Jade or Anastasia. Hannah and Logan start putting on romantic heat, which was not something I was expecting. Hannah's social game is strong. She naturally forms genuine friendships with everyone she interacts with, and isn't involved in unnecessary conflict. So I will give her a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing holding her back from a perfect score is that she did let the game get to her a little too much. Benji's elimination was the turning point for becoming less friendly, especially towards Amelie, who was happy to see her. She does bounce back from this by the end and realize the game really isn't for her.
Plus, Natalia doesn't have many allies she doesn't flip on. She's expendable.
In the first vote, Hannah is on the wrong side of the numbers and votes for Spencer. Amelie, who's her strongest connection, ends up getting voted out. Then the same thing happens with Diego. She was his strongest connection and is voted out. Things seem to be working out for her as she does get the numbers to eliminate Spencer, but he has the idol. Spencer votes out Tristan, and Hannah's luck is just so bad. But at least she is still in the game though. In the following vote, she votes out Spencer, but it's a twist and he's sent to the other team. Hannah and Benji are swing votes, and Hannah takes the lead on eliminating Ivy. This is a big strategic mistake. Benji wanted to target Jade, who was the stronger long-term threat, and Hannah didn't value that and wanted to break up a couple right before the merge. At the merge, Natalia invites Hannah into the majority alliance, placing her in the strongest position in the game. She is very likable and not much of a threat, so this should have worked out. But the girls blindsided Benji, which made her very upset. She doesn't have any solid allies left and has to do what the majority wants, which is what we see in the Richard vote. This is pretty neutral as she's on the correct side of the vote and avoids becoming a target. After Anastasia convinces Hannah and Amelie to vote for Natalia, Hannah agrees. This is a reasonable move as Natalia's been playing all sides, which makes her difficult to trust. Hannah helps convince Anastasia not to fall for Spencer's manipulation. She finally has enough votes to get rid of Spencer, and got revenge for everyone he's eliminated. Hannah has the votes to get rid of Isabel, but another idol is played, which is very frustrating for Hannah. After Logan lies about Zaid leaking information, Hannah believes him and unintentionally fuels Anastasia's paranoia. This contributes to Zaid's elimination. While Hannah isn't solely responsible, she helps move the vote in the wrong direction based on incorrect information. Hannah believes she has a solid final four with Logan, Anastasia, and Amelie. However, Logan and Anastasia recognize that Hannah's strongest loyalty is with Amelie and decide to turn on her before she becomes too dangerous. Hannah believes she has enough votes to eliminate Anastasia, but Jade steals her vote. How many times has this happened to her? She's always getting screwed over by advantages. While Hannah and Logan are getting closer, she realizes that Logan is the biggest jury threat and the strongest in the challenges. Logan is the first person to target her and the votes end up in a tie. And her game ends. Hannah is the biggest majority follower, but this isn't a bad thing at all. She was never targeted in the merge and was at no risk at going home. Her position in the pre-merge was a bit uncertain as she wasn't in Spencer's big alliance, but she didn't need it. So this is gonna round out to a 6 out of 10. Hannah adapts well when things go wrong, but she rarely has enough control over the game to constantly dictate the outcome of the votes.
Guess I woke up today and just chose chaos.
Due to Spencer's ego, it's unclear what Hannah's role in the first challenge actually was. Still, she lays low and doesn't cause her team any problems. During the dual stick challenge, Hannah hits Isabel with a classic look over there strategy, which works and she gains her team a point. Even though Hannah doesn't compete in the Truth or Dare challenge, she helps Amelie overcome her fear, which is pretty good. She wasn't full on lazy and it felt like she was still part of the challenge. Unlike Alec, Hannah knows how to use a bow and arrow and shoots Logan and gets her team the win. Hannah and Diego do a solid job holding up the basket until Richard dunks like 40 feet in the air or something. No one could have predicted that. In the singing challenge, she goes back to her goth phase, and she's not a bad singer. In dodgeball, she blocks Logan's throw. Then she throws a ball right at him and gets him out of the challenge. She was on a roll until Marissa gets her out. Luckily, Jade and Tristan had her back. While Ivy dislocates her shoulder, Hannah's the only person who knows how to help and puts it back into place. Not even the hosts knew what to do there. She tries her best during the boat challenge, but Ivy intentionally throws it, so that's a loss. Hannah makes it pretty far in the carousel challenge, but she does lose her grip and fall. Hannah is completely overpowered by Anastasia in the pulls challenge. After Isabel approaches the elephant, Hannah takes things one step further and climbs onto it. This would have worked, but Anastasia smacks it and puts everyone in danger. Benji and Zaid come up with a plan to save Hannah, and it works, and Benji is placed in a very lucky position. During the treasure chest challenge, Hannah gives Benji clear directions. He ignores them and somehow still succeeds. While the group is fighting over the chest, Hannah smartly tells Benji to guard the exit, which is a good strategy. Hannah gets sniped by a flying book and is first out of the Haunted Mansion challenge. Pretty weak. Hannah works hard to help Amelie reach the final stage of the comeback challenge, which shows good teamwork. Her efforts got an ally back in the game, so good work. During the truth challenge, Hannah lies during Natalia's question and is eliminated first from another challenge. She does make up for it by winning immunity in the auction challenge and immunity in the scary clown challenge, right in a row. She did this at the cost of neglecting Amelie. She took Amelie's money after wasting it on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and Hannah leaves her behind when a branch falls on her. Hey, 2 immunities is 2 immunities. She's trying to be like Hunter. During the trivia challenge, Hannah and Amelie initially followed Logan for Marissa's question instead of realizing Anastasia likely would have known the answer. Spencer's question is much more obvious and Hannah answers it correctly without hesitation. Logan and Amelie split up on Marissa's second question. Hannah chooses to follow Amelie instead, which works out. Up against Zaid, Hannah becomes impatient and chooses a path first. Zaid hangs back and watches Hannah fall, which isn't a good plan for Hannah. In the duo challenge, Hannah has strong accuracy and provides Jade with solid directions, even Amelie at one point. She lets Jade take control of the puzzle section, which costs them the challenge. Hannah understands the VR challenge mechanics better than everyone else, and survives all the way to the free-for-all section, where she gets killed by Anastasia. Hannah has the lead for most of the bumper card challenge, before Anastasia has a comeback and steals a victory by 1 point, which had to have been plot armor. There is no way that Anastasia got that amount of points in that amount of time without knowing how to work the vehicle, but it happened. Then in the tiebreaker against Logan, neither contestant seems focused as they should have been, considering what the stakes were, but Logan came out on top and eliminated Hannah. Overall, Hannah contributes in every team challenge and can excel on her own, so I will give her a 7.5 out of 10. Hannah really isn't a challenge beast, but she's an all-around competitor who can make intelligent decisions while under pressure.
Yeah.
Attaboy!
In fourth place, I have Alec, which surprised me because a lot of you guys thought he was going to be the best fourth placer, but when you look into his game, it really isn't that good compared to the others. His strategic game is the best, don't get me wrong, but his social strategy is just lackluster. His average is a 68%, which is still good, but not as good as Connor. Now, this might seem unfair because he's a returnee, and without a rejoin, he does not even come close to making it to fourth place. Still, he was good socially and had surprisingly good challenge moments, which gives him an average of 72%. In second place, I have Hannah, who, despite not knowing how to play, showed an amazing performance all around. She has an average of 77%, which means that Hunter is the best fourth placer. He had no weak areas and his challenge performance is the best of all time. His team won most of the challenges and he won 3 individual immunities, which is like half of the merge. He has a cool 80% average, which is huge. So, do you think Hunter is the best fourth placer or is that somebody else? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed how I ranked everyone, I also did the same thing for each third placer, runner-up, and winner. Check them out if you're interested, and I'll see you in the next one.